Welcome to the Deep Dive Books channel, where we hope you find something valuable every day.
We continue to release Top 10 Survival Strategies in the Age of AI. Today is the final part, focusing on judgment and the pursuit of knowledge. On judgment. It's still essential to train your brain's neural network with knowledge from literature and history. A brain that lacks this training is filled with biases. Perhaps knowledge of literature, history, and philosophy is the kind that truly needs to be imprinted in our minds. Purely technical knowledge, like formulas and algorithms, is almost entirely based on formal logic and is programmable. These can be entrusted to an external system, which will execute them better than you. A psychologist conducting experimental research certainly needs statistical methods, but he doesn't need to manually calculate the results. There's ready-made software for that. You just input the data, and the results are automatically generated. The quality of your research doesn't depend on the precision of the formulas but on your sharp understanding of the problem and the clever design of the experiment. Similarly, a physicist's research isn't driven by physical knowledge. That knowledge is already established and various analytical routines have been as automated as possible. A physicist's core competitiveness lies in his choice of research topics, his inspiration, his judgment of results, his ability to utilize various tools, and his connection with current popular ideas. These things don't follow fixed patterns, aren't part of formal logic, and can't be quantified. They could be called intuition, or perhaps a form of neural network computation that must be internalized within. Neural networks are best trained with materials from literature, history, and philosophy. Let me use an analogy. In martial arts novels, a practitioner's power is divided into two parts: the weapon they use and their inner strength. Formal logical knowledge is like the weapon, while knowledge of literature, history, and philosophy is like the inner strength. With the rise of AI, weapons have become standardized and easily accessible. The real test lies in one's inner strength. The differences in inner strength between individuals cannot be bridged in the short term and must be improved through long-term mental training. A brain untrained in the humanities is ignorant, and a brain trained with incomplete materials is biased. Only with high-quality material and thorough training can one's inner strength be worthy of tackling significant matters. Some purely technical people, like a programmer, may perform well in their job. But when you talk to them, you might find they don't read much, their minds full of biases and conspiracy theories. Very immature, you could say. What practical use does literature, history, and philosophy have? Literary works enhance our ability to empathize. By reading novels and familiarizing yourself with descriptions of psychological activities, you can better understand what others are thinking and are more likely to learn to consider problems from other people's perspectives. The AI era demands that we interact more with others, and empathy will become particularly important. Everyone has their own emotions and needs, but many adults only care about their own feelings and never learn to put themselves in someone else's shoes, often coming across as blunt. If you can further cultivate some literary skills, speak coherently and highlight the main points. That's even better. The ability to express your ideas quickly and accurately is a valuable skill. Philosophy's most important role is teaching us to think clearly. Physicist Richard Feynman once told a joke about how two philosophers debate. One philosopher says to the other, "You don't even understand what I'm saying." The other responds, "What is you? What is me? What is understanding?" Feynman's intent was to mock, but the joke captures a key trait of philosophers. They care deeply about the exact definition of the concepts you're talking about. Many people love to say, Chinese people have collective thinking. Westerners have individual thinking. But is that really the case? What exactly is collective thinking? Can you explain it clearly? Philosophers remind us to first clarify the concepts and think about the scope of a statement's applicability. Going further, philosophy can teach you to approach problems from first principles. When faced with a complex problem, can you break it down into several steps, each of which is actionable? This requires strong mental training. History's role is to train the brain in problem-solving with numerous real-life examples. In reality, the relationships between people, between individuals and groups often reveal nothing new if you've read enough history. Whenever you encounter a situation in life, you'll think of a historical anecdote. Maybe you have some misunderstandings with your boss, and you recall that a similar situation happened between an official and the emperor, in the Song dynasty. Then you can consider how they handled it back then. You don't necessarily have to follow their approach, but at least you'll become more aware of the possible directions this situation might take. Reading history is the fastest way to increase social insight. Most people have only encountered minor authority figures, like a company leader, and haven't experienced much. But if you read more history, you'll realize that supposedly impressive figures also have limitations, giving you a sense of ease. With this broad-mindedness, you'll remain calm in any situation, quickly discerning what is important and what is not. Outside of literature, history, and philosophy, perhaps you could also learn a bit of math and physics. Math can train logical reasoning and help you distinguish right from wrong. Physics provides you with a worldview aligned with current scientific understanding, allowing you to appreciate the beauty of the universe. But our main goal isn't to master mathematical skills or physical knowledge. It's to learn a way of thinking. This method involves abstracting a simplified model from the complex real world and then quantitatively analyzing that model. Real-world problems have too many complex variables. An abstract model helps you focus on the key points, ignoring the details. This ability to abstract enables you to quickly grasp the essence of any problem. Recently, Goldman Sachs Chief Information Officer, Marco Argenti, suggested that, in the AI era, we should prioritize employing people with philosophy backgrounds. This is because they can quickly propose a mental model for a problem, answer, why do it, before, how to do it, use first principles to break down problems, and engage in clear logical reasoning. These skills are becoming increasingly important. Of course, it's undeniable that, as of now, graduates in literature, history, and philosophy don't find jobs easily. But they have strong potential. Once they find their position, they can be promoted faster than STEM graduates. Perhaps a better approach is to major in STEM in college and study literature, history, and philosophy in your spare time. When we study literature, history, and philosophy, it's best to learn the real thing, not folk tales or popularized stories. I see many short video bloggers on Chinese culture making random claims, offering nothing but emotional value. For example, when reading history, it's best to read nonfiction. A history program's slogan is, experienced, solved, referring to real people proposing solutions to real situations. In the real world, there are no absolute good or bad people, only various inevitable circumstances. You'll marvel at how unfree people truly are. In my view, another benefit of studying literature, history, and philosophy is that it helps us escape the gravity of mediocrity. Daily life is too mundane. If a promising young person only focuses on promotions, raises, office politics, or in-law relations, storms in a teacup, wouldn't that be too boring? Reading some literature, history, and philosophy reminds us that there are still extraordinary things in this world, which is a great comfort. On the pursuit of knowledge. Good knowledge doesn't only exist in serious books. If you care about a problem, wherever there's a solution, there's good knowledge. The average person typically values exam-related knowledge, job site skills, or financial management. Subjects usually found in formal university disciplines. But consider this. If Confucius were to time travel to the modern world and establish a training school for contemporary elites, what courses would he offer? They would certainly be about self-cultivation rather than skills for others. I imagine the curriculum might include the following courses. Critical thinking, teaching you to use scientific methods to distinguish right from wrong. In the AI era, we increasingly need to rely on our own thinking, rather than experts' opinions to judge what's true or false. Leadership, which is about whether you can persuade a room full of people to follow you. Can you create a reality distortion field? Decision science, focusing on how to conduct meetings, avoid various cognitive biases, and understand decision hygiene. These are the signature teachings of the recently deceased Daniel Kahneman, who deserves a place of honor in a modern Confucius Institute. Various mental models, which are modern equivalents of idioms and illusions. Occam's razor, Hanlon's razor, the Dunning-Kruger effect, the prisoner's dilemma, non-zero-sum games, evolution, the butterfly effect, path dependence. The more you know about these, the more solutions you'll have when faced with problems. During the spring and autumn period, nobles would often communicate by reciting verses from the Book of Songs. We modern people can also convey insights quickly, using these models. Aesthetic ability is an underestimated skill. It's not a skill, like playing the piano, but about aesthetics. Knowing what constitutes high-level beauty. Recently, I met a master in Shanghai, who has taken Midjourney to an extraordinary level. He has organized many AI community events and is also a designer at Apple. He told me that aesthetic cultivation has another benefit. It allows you to express yourself more precisely. It's a high-level form of communication. You might also need an understanding of complex systems, knowledge of global trends, and so on. I believe these are essential skills for modern elites, and every executive should undergo this training. The reality is that even the best business schools today don't cover all of these topics, but maybe our channel can help you. With this, we complete the release of our Top 10 Survival Strategies in the Age of AI. We will update these strategies as necessary, but for now, these are my most sincere thoughts.
If you feel there is value in this, please like, subscribe to this channel, and leave your thoughts or suggestions in the comments section. Let's grow together and read more good books.